Hello and good afternoon. Russell Hotels going live just for a couple minutes. You guys know how I do it. This is the daily check-in, right? Today is Wednesday, Hump Day, April 22nd. Hope you guys are doing well. It's about 12:43 p.m. in California, right? So I do this daily check-in Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Since today is Hump Day, of course, I'm going to do it. It's just the time. I never know when the time is going to be because it's based on my schedule, what I got going on, and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Let me just make sure that I am live on the platforms I'm supposed to be on, and I should be live on. Oh my goodness, I think something dropped off. Oh no, it didn't. No, it didn't. So I'm live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Now, there's a funny feature that just came out today. Well, I just saw this today. I just recognized it today, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't on there yesterday. Well, I use this platform called Restream. Okay, it's a whole studio, for the podcast or video cast or whatever we call these live hospitality talk shows or whatever I call mine, right? But it gave you an option to do either portrait or landscape. The view of the camera for the most part. I mean, is it going to be narrow, like a vertical, or is it going to be horizontal, like a landscape, like fill up the whole screen? So I said, you know what? Let me just kind of mix and match. Like so on Facebook, it would be portrait and Instagram is portrait, but LinkedIn and YouTube I left at landscape. I don't know if that's going to help with the viewership. I don't know. I guess it's a wait and see, a kind of experiment, if you will. I'm looking right now on Instagram, and it is definitely portrait. So it changes the whole thing, right? So like on this screen, like if you're on LinkedIn, you can see the entire thing. You can see all this, the books and the photo right there. But if I'm on Instagram, you see me. Okay. You see me and you see the book. It's called The Hotel Revenue Bible by Bruce Jordan, right? That's what you see right there. So it's kind of, you know what? I don't know if I like this or not. I don't know. I don't know, but we're gonna see. But maybe it'll help with the viewership. I don't know. We're about to see, right? So, like I said, I do this daily check-in Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Kind of get you caught up on maybe what I did between yesterday's on air with Russell of Hotels and today. Today, and in fact, I get a. This happened actually yesterday, where I got a message from a client of mine. You guys may know her, but I'm not gonna mention her name right now. But she had sent me a message saying that she needed assistance with something, and I called her after, and it led to she needed help. She needed help with she needed me to source something, to source a meeting that they're having. Her company is having in Atlanta. So I was able to do that this morning. Actually, I did it last night or yesterday because she needs the information today. So I asked the hotels if they can get it to me by end of the day today, a proposal, right? I know some hotels will be able to do it. I think I sent it out to about at least 8 hotels in the Atlanta area. And I need it today, right? So I already received 3 of them this morning. So I got at least 6 more to go, I guess, 6 or maybe 5 or 6 more to go. So hopefully they get them all in, and then that way I can present it. And so yeah, so that's I've been working on that and some other stuff as well. But it's always good to it's always good to source some things, right? It's always good to get that stuff out there, source, do that whole hotel site selection thing. I love that. In fact, the topic for today is going to have to do with that. Okay, because doing certain things can lead to more hotel site selection or more sourcing, whatever you do with your business, right? But once again, do you guys use Restream? Does anyone use Restream? I just thought that was an interesting thing, right? So I'm like looking back over there. I don't see anybody on Instagram at the moment, but I just thought it was an interesting choice. You can choose if you want landscape or portrait. I just thought that was dope. Okay, so I don't know why I'm just so excited about that. But anyway, so I'll never do one of these shows where I'm not showcasing a hotel or a destination. And today's going to be both. It's going to be a hotel and a destination, or because we all know that the hotels are the byproduct of the destination. You got to choose the destination first, right? So when my client called and said, "Hey, she didn't say I need hotels. She said I need hotels in this destination." Okay. So I mean, you just can't do a hotel, right? I guess you can choose one, but normally you choose the destination first, and you say, okay, I need, several hotels within the, can you source these hotels in this particular destination, right? So I'm like, oh yeah, let's do it. Let's make it happen. So anyway, these daily check-ins don't have to be that long. I tend to make them long. So let's move forward. But like I said, the place or the destination that I'm showcasing today is going to be a destination, and I think you probably know about it. You've heard of it before. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I don't know. Maybe you've been, living in a cave for the last 20 years. I don't know. And a hotel as well. So without further ado, boom, New Orleans, NOLA, the big sleazy. I mean, who doesn't love New Orleans, right? New Orleans they beat to their own drum, okay? Um, they do their own thing. They got their own food. I mean, it's just, man, if you've never been to New Orleans and to experience what goes on there, you're missing a lot. You're missing a lot. So I was there. I don't know when this was, maybe last year, and was just able to take it all in because I've been there before, but never was really able to take it all in. Right, as you know, a someone outside looking in, and being able to go look at some hotels, go to the French Quarter, go to the French Market, and just kind of take it all in. Not necessarily from I guess from a tourist perspective, right? Because I wasn't really there necessarily working, but I did sort. I mean, you always want to go check out hotels, right? And which I did, right? So I stayed in a hotel, but I wanted to check out at least one or two other ones as well, and I was able to do that, right? But you got to check out the food too. And what I did not know is that New Orleans, they have their own food, right? Cajun, for the most part, Cajun food, right? And I was able to find non-meat eats there. I mean, an abundance of non-meat eats. So, like, if it's red beans and rice, they can veganize it, okay? Or this particular place did veganize it. Um, what else? What else? Beignets veganized. Po' boys veganized. Okay, so those are some of the top things in New Orleans. Jambalaya, gumbo veganized. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Ooh, you can tell I'm just getting excited about it right now, right? So let's see, who is this from? I see a comment, so I have to read it. Hey, sir, are you my hometown friend, the late Mr. and Mrs. Lincoln Edmond? Yep. If so, he was my bus driver for many years. I worked at the hospital years ago with the beautiful Mrs. Edmond. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, I am their son. Yes, 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 yes. And they are sorely missed. Definitely that. And not a minute, I'll say an hour can pass by and I don't think of one or both of them. So thank you so much, Miss Callie Grandison. Grandison? Did I say that right? So yeah, I'm from Blythe, born and raised, left when I was 18, and I still go back. We still have the house there, of course, and my brother lives there. And yeah, I go back as often as I can, as often as I can because it's like I said, it's where I grew up. So that's what I'm talking about, right? That's why I do things to Facebook, right? That's exactly why, Miss Callie Grandison, that's exactly why I make sure I stream to Facebook because I know a lot of people either from Blythe or maybe they live there, or maybe they're just from Blythe and they still keep up what goes on there, which I do. And I know a lot of them are on Facebook. So I make sure I do that just specifically for that reason. So no, thank you so much. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate you, asking, mentioning my parents. That is too kind. In fact, I'm gonna this is what I do. I put your comments on the screen in real time. See, that's what happens when you make a comment in the chat. The chat's open, so if you want to make a comment, please do so. I make sure I put your comments on the chat so the whole world can see. It says, "Hey, sir." Once again, I'm read this again. Hey, sir, are you my hometown friend with the late Mr. and Mrs. Lincoln Edmond? That's my mom and dad, right? If so, he was my bus driver for many years. I worked at the hospital years ago with the beautiful Mrs. Edmond. Yeah, my mother was a nurse. So yeah, so no, thank you very much. And You are absolutely amazing too. Nah, you know what? Thank you. No, if I am, it's because of them. But I don't think I am. But if I am, I do accept it and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But yeah, it's because of them. So I am who I am because my mom and dad. As do I. I was born and raised there in 1948. Wow, this is awesome. Thank you, my brother. No, thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate the support because anyone that comes on and makes comments, that's supporting what I'm doing here. So no, I definitely appreciate that. So thank you so much. See, that's what I'm talking about, people. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Let me check over here on Instagram. Nothing going on Instagram as of yet, and that's okay. But let me just get back to what I was doing. So once again, this is New Orleans, right? So the CVB or the DMO in New Orleans is called New Orleans and Company. So you just go neworleans.com if you need any information about the destination, meetings, all that kind of stuff. Just go neworleans.com and you get all the information there. And that right there is in, I want to say Jackson Square. That's a historic building. I mean, that's kind of anyone that goes to New Orleans sees that, right? And I want to say it's called Jackson Square, the area right there. This sculpture is in City Park. See, that I was able to do certain things, right? It wasn't just about the French Quarter or the French Market and everything that happens. We were able because I have a good friend that lives there, right? And he drove me around and showed me a lot of things that everyone doesn't get to see, right? Unless you're as adventurous as he is or we are. So we went around and showed me a lot of things. City Park is huge. I mean, there's a lot of sculptures there. I just was attracted to this one for whatever reason, and I wanted to take a picture of it. And then this is the French Quarter, of course, right? I can't think of what the name is. I think that's a bar right there. If I'm not mistaken, that you see where the doors open. If I'm not mistaken, we went in there and got one of them darn hurricanes and hand grenades. Okay. No one needs, I mean, hurricanes are good. The hand grenades I can do without. I'll never have another one. That's one of those one of the lifetime drinks. You just have to have one. I will not. I'm telling you now. To this day, I don't need another hand grenade. Okay, I don't. No one needs another hand grenade. No one needs one really, but you have to taste it, right? But no, not my thing. I don't need another one. Okay, but I want to say that's the place that we at the bottom. That's where we got it. But just kind of that unique architecture in New Orleans and just something that you just kind of love. You gotta love it. And of course, I can't go anywhere without eating some beignets. And these beignets were vegan. Okay, they were plant-based. They didn't have any butter, no milk, no dairy, anything like that, no eggs. But they were just as fluffy as the OG ones, right? And you couldn't tell the difference. You could not tell the difference. Okay, and I had red beans and rice and and of course the beignets. I think I want to say I had like a vegan jambalaya, a po' boy, and the po' boys you can get with oyster mushrooms. They're fried oyster mushrooms, just like they have the oyster ones, right? The real oyster ones. No, they have oyster mushrooms that are fried and put it into that baguette. Oh, oh my God. So anyway, I'm all about the destination, but of course, after the destination, you got to have somewhere to stay. After I ate all the beignets and the po' boys, I needed a place to stay, right? So the hotel I stayed in was the Windsor Court. Windsor Court, New Orleans. That's 313 guest rooms, 10,000 square feet of meeting space. Now, this is near the pool area. Of course, I didn't show the pool this time. I have so many photos. That's the one thing I do. I take my own photos. When I say I won't display any hotel or destination, I won't display their pictures or photos or their videos unless I'm the one that took them, which means I've been there, right? Which means I've experienced it. So that's one of those disclaimers because I get people that will call and reach out to me and say, "Hey, I want you to put some of my photos on your show." I'm like, "No, I've never been there unless you invite me. I mean, please, invite me to come out, and of course I will do those things, and then I can put those on my show. But I will not just, because people will email me things all the time, videos, photos, use this on your show. No, I won't. I'm not doing that, right? Because you gotta have, you gotta have some discretion here, I'm not gonna do that. And I'll be just like anyone else on some of these social media things where they're just posting things that really have no bearing on anything because they've never been there. They never really experienced it, right? And no, I will never do that. I will never show anything that I haven't experienced myself. So there you go. So I see another chat. Let me see what's in the chat this time. Oh, you got me so hungry now, Ella. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So no, that's, if you, like I said, if you've never been to New Orleans, I mean, it's one thing to because every like major city, like I'm in Los Angeles, right? And there's some restaurants here that will serve, New Orleans fare, the Cajun food, the beignets and things like that. But for whatever reason, it doesn't taste 100% like the stuff you get in New Orleans, right? Maybe it's the water, okay? Maybe it's because it's next to the Mississippi. I don't know what it is, but I know people that if they get crawfish and they get it shipped to them, right? So the crawfish kind of tastes the same because I have a neighbor who's from New Orleans, and every couple of years he'll have like a seafood boil where they ship in, I don't know, 40, 50, 100 pounds of crawfish. And this is back when I was eating crawfish, right? And I don't eat that anymore. But you couldn't tell the difference because it comes out of that same muddy water of the Mississippi, right? So there's something there's something to be said about that, the taste, and just like the bagel in New York, New York water is different than other, water anywhere else, right? So the taste of the bagel is going to be different because the water is different, right? So you just can't replicate or duplicate that stuff, right? You just have to go there and experience it yourself. So take it from me, just go and experience the food. So thank you so much, Miss Callie. I appreciate you making that comment about the food. Let's see, where am I? Where am I? I need to put something back up here. Okay, this is the Windsor Court. The Windsor Court. Now, where is it at? See what I did? I'm sorry. I have to find something. I have to find something. You know what? I can't find it now. I guess that's what happens when I switch things. When I switch screens. Oh, there it is. There it is. I'm sorry. Boom. There you go. So once again, this is near the pool area. You can lounge and just kind of hang out if you want to, or get in the pool if you want to. And this is on the, I want to say this is the second floor. It's not necessarily meeting space, but it was like second floor. I think there's a restaurant up there, but this is outside of the restaurant area. And of course, I'm sitting over there looking out the window, right? Because I'm taking in the views of, I think from this way, I think you see the city. On the other side, you can see the Mississippi. I thought it was kind of cool. Kind of cool view. This is the lobby area of the Windsor Court. Once again, 313 guest rooms, 10,000 square feet of meeting space. So not a lot of meeting space, but guess what? All of their meeting space has natural lighting. It all has windows, right? And I have clients that they won't even choose a hotel for a meeting unless it has natural lighting. Okay, natural lighting means it has windows for people, that don't know that. And this is one of the guest rooms, and this was a suite. All the rooms here are suites. Did I mention that? All of them are suites. I mean, they're different size suites, but they're all suites. And this is actually the parlor area of that same guest room, right? So look how big it is, right? It has working desk. They got a couch, chairs, several chairs, sitting areas. I mean, it's just and I got to see everything. I can't remember the young lady, the sales representative that showed me around, but she showed me every single thing. She goes, I can show you everything. Oh my God. I'm like, I was exhausted after the site tour, but that's what you want. Someone that's as thorough as that. And I did not necessarily have an appointment, right? I called her like in the morning because I was actually, before I stayed at that hotel, I was staying at another one. I was staying at the, one of a Marriott property. I can't even think of it. The Aloft. I was staying at the Aloft down the street, right, which is in walking distance of this hotel. And asked her, got a hold of her and said I wanted to do a site tour of the hotel. And she said, "Oh, come on, I can show you now." See, that's what I'm talking about. Salespeople that are willing to, bite the bullet and say, you know what? Yeah, I have time to do this. I mean, I have tons of things to do, but guess what? I don't know who's on the other end. I don't know what kind of business they have. You know what I mean? That's the thing. That's the attitude that she had. Like, hey, come on in. I'll show you around. And then she showed me everything. She introduced me to people, introduced me to their marketing person. Somebody in the line, I want to say a front, the director of rooms and things like that. So just introduced me to a lot of people, which she didn't have to do, right? So I appreciate that. So got to see everything in this particular hotel. And I think that's all the photos. Maybe I have one more. I showed that already. That's the second floor, I believe. And I got a topic for today. So real quick, in fact, let me just check this chat real quick. Another chat. My husband has 130 acres of land in a brick house plus a forest that they sell the lumber to every 20 years. I lived there 3 years and after we were married. I love it there too. Now, where is that? You live in New Orleans? Where? I'm sorry. Where what city? What city are you referring to? Thank you so much for those comments. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, you make your comments and they get shown on the screen, or I get to talk about them. I see someone on Instagram. It says public diabetes, thyroid care. They joined. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate that. Do you have a name? Can you let us know your name while you're there on Instagram, please? We had to come back to Cali because my hubby's family getting sick and needed him back there. What city was that? I didn't read anywhere about the city. I just see forest and lumber, 20 years. So anyway, let me get to this topic. Okay, so even hotel site selectors need to follow up. Okay, so you guys know I'm always talking about following up, right? That's one of the biggest things that's what am I trying to say? It's a lost art, following up, right? And why do I say that? When people are like, why do you say that? I follow up all the time. There's someone out there that's saying, I follow up all the time. How dare you say that? Well, not everyone does. 100% of the people do not follow up. Not there, but in Grenada, Mississippi. Grenada, Mississippi. Oh, okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. Thank you so much for sharing that. Appreciate that. So not okay, 1 second. 1 second. Okay, I need to cue this up so I know where the heck I'm going. I know where I am, but I gotta know where I'm going. I gotta know where I'm going. And I don't know why I didn't have this queued up before. Topic for today. Why can't I find this? Why am I having the darndest time finding these topics? And it's all right here. Maybe I have too many things on my to-do list here. Okay, there it is right there. Okay. Topic once again. Boom. Even hotel site selectors need to follow up. I'm always mentioning that, hotel salespeople, DMO salespeople need to follow up, right? And I mentioned that I've gone to conferences and I always give them, a grace period of at least 2 weeks, 2 weeks to a month of follow up, right? So if I had 22 appointments on my last conference, I think I've received to date seven people that I met with that actually followed up, right? Well, you got to follow up, right? And I don't just say that because no one's following up with me. Now I have responsibility as well, right? I have a company, or my business is called Russell of Hotels, right? You guys all know I do hotel site selection. Okay, let's just say that I do hotel site selection, meaning I source out meetings to hotels on behalf of my clients. But I have to follow up too. If I don't follow up with my clients, guess what? They won't be my clients long, right? Because they'll go on to someone else, right? And it's a dog eat dog world out there in the meeting planning world, right? Everyone is always looking for that next piece of business. And I get it, I understand. So to me, if I'm not following up with my client or my past clients, then shame on me, right? I don't deserve that client if I'm not following up. So make sure we are following up. And I'm telling you, I am following up. And these are things that I do. Okay. Even Russell Hotels needs to follow up. Okay. So number one, okay, let's see. As a hotel site selection business, it will be easy to think my job is done once the hotel is selected and the contract is signed. But the truth is that that is not the end of the relationship. It is often just the beginning, just like hotels need to follow up with their clients after a meeting, conference, or site visit. I also need to follow up with my clients throughout the process even after the event is over. But let's just say just yesterday, I get a have a conversation with my client and they need me to source something in Atlanta, okay, which I did. And she wanted to, can you get back to me? Can you have the hotels get back to you by end of the day tomorrow, which is today, right? I'm like, yeah, I can request all that, right? Sometimes they will get it all in, sometimes they won't. But I mean, it's my job to push them to get it in, right? So I got 3 responses this morning. But before I got the other two, I got one early this morning, like say by 6 o'clock in the morning. I already had one, 6 o'clock in the morning, my time, which means that's 9 o'clock in Atlanta. So I got that one and I sent it to my client, right? For whatever reason, she couldn't open it. So I had to redo it. But in the meantime, I got two more responses, right? So I have 3 out of 8. So I have 5 more to go. And as far as I know now, they could have already responded. But I did, want to make sure that she knew that I was still on the job, right? That as I get them, I'm going to send them to her, right? So I said, hey, there's 3. And when I get the other ones, I will keep updating it as we go along, right? Because you want to make sure that the client does know that you are working on this, right? Not that, oh, I'm going to wait till the end of the day and I'm going to bombard her with all this stuff. No, if I'm getting it early, I'm going to send it to her. So whatever you're getting, whatever correspondence, I always make sure that I'm letting the client know. And in some cases, I copy them on what I'm doing because I'm working for them. Without them, I have nothing to do. Okay. So I'm working for them. I mean, people always say, oh, you got your own business. You can do this and do that. No, it's up to the client what I do, right? So my travel schedule is based on my clients. I travel because I need to go do a site tour or I need to attend meetings in certain regions because I know my client wants to, have a meeting in that particular region. That's the reasons why a lot of us hotel site selection people attend conferences like the North Stars, the Smart Meetings, the Connects, incentives, the incentive programs. That's why we attend those things because we don't know the next place, and sometimes we do. A lot of times we don't know the next region or location or destination where our clients are going to want to be. So it's to our benefit that we, keep knowledge or is keep learning as much as we can. And a lot of the learning has to do with different destinations, learning the different destinations, learning the different hotels within those destinations. And within those hotels, which ones are for me, which ones are the higher end hotels, which ones are the middle of the road, which ones are the, maybe economy hotels or whatever. Because every client's different. So you have to make sure you do your homework on your clients because you just don't know what they're going to be looking for. Or that next client, you know, are they on a budget? Is money no object? Or they in middle of the road? Whatever it is, we have to know our clients. So even Russell Hotels needs to follow up. Okay. So there you go. So that kind of set the table there, right? Did it set the table for you? So number one. So I got 3, of course. Number one is follow up builds trust and shows you care, right? You have to care. Sharing is caring, right? Following up is caring. So clients want to know that you are still there for them. Okay. Like I said, my client let me know yesterday that what she's looking for, she wanted by end of the day, but as it's going along, I'm letting her know, informing her, hey, this is what's going on now, and I'll continue to do that until the whole thing is completed, until we get to that contract stage, right? So those are the things that I want to make sure that they know because it builds trust and it lets them know that you care about what's going on, right? It's not just the commission. You care about the whole process and making sure that they are taken care of. Clients want to know that you're still there for them, not just when you're trying to secure the business. Checking in before the program, during the planning process, and after the event shows that you care about more than just the booking. Okay, you want to make sure that they know that. Number two, problems are easier to solve when you stay involved. Even after a hotel is selected, things can change, right? A lot of things can change. Room block issues, meeting space adjustments, transportation concerns, food and beverage questions they may have for you, last minute changes. A lot of those things happen, and it's my job to make sure that I follow up with with my hotel partner on behalf of my client, right? Like one thing that she had mentioned, she wanted a discount or wanted to because there's a lot of people, like 150 people coming for a reception, right? And she wanted to make sure they provided valet parking for everyone, right? Well, I don't want her to pay the going price for that. No, I want a discount. I want, I want an adjustment. I want some consideration, right? So that's my job to follow up with that, right? To make sure that we get what she wants, right? That's what they want. That's what they're gonna get. Because I know from past groups that I've done or past business I've done with this particular client, they look for things like that. Okay, so I want to make sure I'm ahead of the game and I'm asking for those things, up front, right? So let's just make sure that we're doing those things. And if maybe the room block is going up, maybe instead of 100 rooms, it's going to be 150 rooms. I don't know, but whatever that is, we want to make sure we stay in touch with them because they may have adjustments. We just don't know. We just don't know. And number three, the follow up often leads to the next opportunity. Everybody wants that, right? Everyone wants the next opportunity. When's the best time? Like, this is for my hotel and DMO salespeople, right? When's the next time to rebook a piece of business? When it's there, when it's in your hotel, in your city, your destination, and and everything has gone well. Okay, everything's gone well with that particular group. That's the next time to ask for the more future business. Do you have any other groups coming in? Or in my case, are you planning anything else in the future? What about that board meeting that you mentioned? Are you still going to do that? I mean, can I assist you with that? I mean, all those things you have to follow up because they can lead to other opportunities. Okay, so that's what we have to do. We have to stay in touch with our clients, and that's what I do. Because if I didn't, I probably wouldn't get anything. Okay, so anyway. And I have a quote. Of course, I have a quote. Even in hotel site selection, the job is not done when the hotel is booked. The follow up is what builds trust, solves problems, and creates the next opportunity. And that comes from me, Russell of Hotels. So that is it, right? I do have I see another question or something here, a comment. Let's see who that's from. I see Craig Giangrosso. Hey, what's going on? I'm going to send this amazing video to my daughter. She is a nurse looking for investment. I have to go take my hubby John to the doctor's appointment. I thank you so much too. Have a wonderful day. My brother, love you. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for joining this live that I do. I do this. It's a daily check-in. I do the daily check-in Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You're on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, so it's always going to be the Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. Okay, so that's where I am. That's where I'll be. Just the times do change, but even if you can't catch me on the live, you can catch me on the replay. There you go. So that's what I'm talking about, right? So that's why I do certain things to Facebook and the certain platforms because it's important that the people that have supported me for years, people I know I grew up with or grew up around their kids or they were friends of my parents or whatever. I mean, that's important to me. So, people from Blythe, shout out to you guys. All right. Shout out to the B-Town people. So anyway, I think that's about it. Thank you, Craig. So Craig's on, two platforms there, Craig. Craig's on Instagram as well as I want to say YouTube. He's on YouTube as well. So thank you so much, Craig. Appreciate you. That is it for today. Thank you guys so much. Once again, this was I showed the Windsor Court Hotel, which is in New Orleans, and I showed some things about New Orleans as well. Right. So let me click on that. Boom. There you go. Let me just go through these one more time, because I want to, because I can, right? So Jackson Square, City Park, um, 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 beignets. I'm sorry, French Quarter, French Quarter, vegan beignets, meaning they don't have any eggs and butter and dairy, anything like that. No, you guys know how I get down. You guys know what I eat, right? I'm all about the non-meat eats. The Windsor Court Hotel, which is right downtown area, overlooking the mighty Mississippi River. So why do I show hotels? Why do I show destinations? Because you may not have known this hotel existed, right? You may have been there, maybe you stayed at, other hotels and didn't know about the Windsor Court. So my job is to make sure there's some visibility there, right? My job is to create visibility where in the past there may not have been, right? And that goes to for any brand, right? That goes for my brand as well. You may not have known me or what I do, right? And so that's why I do a daily check-in. That's why I do a daily check-in Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And that's why I do on air with Russell of Hotels, which yesterday was my show number, the 340th show. So if you haven't checked that out, it is on the replay. You can go to Facebook, you can go to LinkedIn or YouTube, and you can see the whole show if that's what you want to do. Just like this right here. I never delete these. They're always going to be there. So only thing that gets deleted is the live on Instagram. Okay. So right now I'm streaming live to Instagram, but once it's done, it disappears. Poof. There it goes. But I'll take little snippets from there and then I'll post the little snippets, right? But the video in its entirety will not be on Instagram because it's just not there. I don't use it for that. So anyway, that is it. You guys have a great day. Once again, this is the daily check-in with Russell of Hotels. Until tomorrow, have a great day. And as always, peace.